And that, at the end of the day, is what always is the issue, that you cannot pick up the baton, as it were, from the middle of the race and expect to have a proper overview as how to correct it, which is going to move me across to my other guest this morning, Mr. Ramash Ramsumair. The area, what is it the government called it, as Omardath just said, I think it was described as one happy house. And in putting together this happy house, they have relocated the ministry. That's one area of it. So the relocation is supposedly bringing the office of the decision makers closest to the people who are affected by it. He also went on to say that in doing this, many farmers complain that the infrastructure, including irrigation, is a real problem. We hear it. They have to travel long to make these complaints. With us being right in their backyard, we will hear the problems and can address it. Is this a first good move?
Mr. Bishop, these are essential services that falls under the ambit of the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Production. Mm-hmm. All right, there are a lot of extension offices around Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, we're going to relocate that head office into Central. Very good move, brings it closer. But let's look at the facts that exist presently. A recent survey was done with Trinidad and Tobago. We are so-called, the stats has shown that we are a so-called lazy nation. I don't want people to misunderstand me, all right? But the fact remains that our civil service, our public servants, I'm not bashing them, but we have fallen back a bit, all right? And if we look at the Ministry of Food Production right now, we need to carry those services closer to the farmers and fisher folk. Mm-hmm. But even with our existing offices, we have a situation here where the Minister of Agriculture, he recently held about 40 exchanges around Trinidad with several communities. And yes, he mentioned himself that he is walking and talking and meeting. His PS is the one and her team to make that decision to fire, hire, to pay, not to pay. You talk about irrigation, etc. All right? But at the end of the day, we as farmers and fisher folk, we are good producers. Mm-hmm. Very good producers. But at the end of the day, we can't leave our farms. Yes, we can go to the extension office, go to Port of Spain, but check the time limits there. And those are restraints. And the vision in infrastructure, in service and governance and bringing that service closer to the farmers and fisher folks. It's real. But today as we sit here, we are faced in Trinidad and Tobago where our farmers and fisher folk must be, yes, putting them first. But in the last 4 months, I think that effort need to be extended to the other staff, the thousands of other staff and directors in the Ministry of Food Production who have to go out there and do the work. And for the last 4 months, they have been sitting in their offices and waiting on maybe the minister and the PS to start that structure. Now, 4 months has gone. But at the end of the day, look at what has happened in 4 months. Oil price, our ability to import goods no longer exists. Mm-hmm. And in a few months' time, yesterday, Venezuela had an emergency for the next 2 months. The president has taken over the country because of this impending oil and energy crisis. So our farmers today, what I suggest can be done immediately.
Yeah, give me the top three. I'm waiting to hear the top three things, top three challenges for farmers. I want you to identify that and weigh that against what has been done. Well, from what you just said, moving of the ministry is good, but outside of that, nobody else is working. So not much has been done in your view, if I extrapolate correctly from what you're saying. So then identify for us this morning the top three structural initiatives that are necessary.
Well, from a farmer's perspective and a fisher folk perspective, we have a lot of challenges, right? But we need the support, but the support has been too long in coming. We are into a dry season now. Mm-hmm. Okay, we need to get ponds. Okay, these ponds were supposed to be done a year ago. It was not done because this administration waiting for that and that, and it goes back to the infrastructure challenges. But at the end of the day, today we have to go out there and meet our farmers in the different sectors. Okay, we have vegetable, we have fruit crops, we have livestock, fisheries, root crops, etc. We need to more aggressively, yes, the minister have been going around meeting these farming groups, but 4 months have gone. All right, and the extension offices are there, and they are not really doing the work. This is real. That has been brought forward by every farming group in Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, there's a lot of challenges with ASTT and whatnot, and we as farmers, we're so busy in our fields, but yet still we're not organizing our business. But we as farmers are trying to put our house in order, and the Tableland Pineapple Farmers Association is one such group. And we have been addressing. I mean, look, this Eat Local campaign right now. Yes, we cannot supply the amount of fresh fruits and vegetables for Trinidad and Tobago. But what we have been producing thus far is let us try to understand what there is and try to bring that up. But again, 4 months have gone and we're into the dry season. We can't go and plant much fruits and whatnot now because of weather and the conditions. So, Mr. Bishop, this conversation, right, needs to continue. And when we talk about funding and whatnot, right, yes, you have Ministry of Health, $10 billion. You have National Security, $10 billion. Ministry of Food Production, 1.2. We're not complaining, but at the end of the day, if you farm and you produce your own food in every available backyard in Trinidad and Tobago, let us see our lecturers in the university, let us see of some of our leaders on an afternoon showing up, pictures, etc., where they're in their backyard teaching their children and trying to plant a simple tomato or bygone, as the case may be. This is the kind of vision we need to do. And
Ramash, I get what you're saying there, but I'm still looking for the top 3 structural things you think that's not been done that should be done. Just so that our listeners are very clear what the farmer is seeing. You say that the folks in the ministry are waiting for the lead from the government, from the minister. We understand that they need to get off their butts and do some work. I'm clear on that. Give me some specific things that should be done right now to assist farmers in meeting the expectations of the nation and the government.
Rennie, I don't want to go around in circles. Farming, agriculture centers around accessing land. You need land. When you get the land, you have to prepare that land. When you prepare that land now, you need to get your seedlings, your materials to go into there.
Stop there for a moment for me. Let me deal with the first part and we get back to the Economist in just a moment. I'm having a discussion with Ramash Ramsumair, who is the president of the Tableland Pineapple Farmers, and of course, agricultural economist Omardath Maharaj. Let's deal with this area of the land. I know that the government, they say they have moved early. They are moving early to give land security to people. You're saying that is not happening, or is that happening but not fast enough?
Within the last 3 years or so, there was the largest land distribution sites for farmers, where farmers can access a 25-acre plot, a 10-acre plot. Up to this present day, those leases weren't given. Certain infrastructure was supposed to be put into those plots. Simple things like crossings, ponds, roads, access, etc. Those are ABC things. And for the last 3-4 years, yes, you had a plan to give leases to farmers. The lands cannot even be surveyed. Right now, I understand there isn't a commissioner of state lands in position.
Well, in 4 months' time, I understand that's what the current government say, that they are speeding up. But 4 months is a short time. Some folks argue, or they will argue, it's a short time.
Right, and I know you have the infrastructure, EMBD, and the other agencies, right, who boards were just appointed and whatnot. And are we going to wait another 4 months for things to start to happen? We have 3 months, a dry season coming, the worst ever, and we are suffering right now to feed ourselves. I mean, there are a lot of vegetable farmers, etc. and whatnot. So leases and whatnot, these are things that my other colleagues, Sheraz and Danusuko and them, who represent farmers in this country. What we need to do, yes, there are thousands of farmers, but we need to really go out and reach and meet these farmers in the fields and let us try to produce some of the things, the short crops and the long-term crops.
So you want to see a greater outreach coming out of the ministry with all
Absolutely, we can't wait longer for that.
Ramash Ramsumair, I want to take this back to the agricultural economist, because part of what Ramash is saying deals with a question of seeing what is in it for the stakeholder, the workers who are doing this, Omardath Maharaj, and the question of a year-round income for farmers is something that must be considered. One of the things that we have heard argued oftentimes is that farmers try to maximize their return come harvest time, because it's like once a year, crop time is the time when they are in fact benefiting. But if there was a way, for instance, that we can guarantee income for farmers year-round, which has to do with, you put your stuff out, you get it into a storage center, you get into distribution, output and stuff like that. That would be one way of dealing with it. Are you seeing anything coming from the government that gives you the feeling that they understand the need to do this? And is that one of the solutions that we need to have happen here?
Well, income at the household level for the working class population is a serious thing, and much less for farming families and fisher folk who depend on some level of seasonality with respect to their income. And one-off challenges can cripple that household, if not make them drop off the grid.
That's right.
For example, a few months ago, 2 fishermen unfortunately drowned off the coast of Mayaro with some boating accident. And I understand one of them has several children. Now, at the time of death, that family is plunged further into a socioeconomic situation, uncomfortable situation, clearly, especially with young children. So, yes, I do agree that we need to be more about stabilizing that household income, and we made a statement at that time about protecting the men and women that feed the nation. And at this point, I thanked you earlier for the invitation to be here, and all the media who helped carry these messages. But to speak specifically, the agriculture sector right now in Trinidad and Tobago, or the Trinidad and Tobago itself, punishes productivity in agriculture. All right? So without looking at the farmer and who's taking home the fattest pocket, if it is you have a bumper harvest, right, and food itself is perishable, right? Let's limit the conversation to fruits and vegetables, not to be all over. And you have a bumper harvest, you are proud. You're a proud farmer, your workers are proud, very nice products, whatever. You come to the market and you flood the market at that point. Within a week, 2 weeks, you need to get rid of this thing, all right? So it's not that you have a bumper harvest and you want to capitalize. The opposite of it is you need to get rid of this thing because the little slight squeeze that get in the van coming from quite to the Port of Spain market will punish you, all right? So the fact is that the sector punishes productivity in that direction, and the opposite is also true. When things are scarce, we see a spike in food prices, all right? So you have flooding, you have a heated dry season, perennial larceny. Different things affect productivity and limit at that point the amount of volume coming to the market. So prices move with these one-off things. And I know you're asking me that these one-off things we need to stabilize, all right? So my point is that stabilizing will not only come through investing in capacity for storage. There are these other factors that also cause the one-off spike, such as perennial larceny, weather, labor availability, market space, marketing, market access, all these other things.